for this wave to get underneath the tower in the bottom lane. 4 minions to work with. That should be enough. Tarzan moves in on an Elk on their own. Good flash, but instant double pull from Chris. But he's locked up under the tower. An Elk and on find the first blood. Tarzan takes a chunk as Elk throws these bombs out relentlessly. Light on the edge of aggro range though. Answers in kind.
So what?
No, didn't necessarily manage to get anything else done, but in the meantime, he's found his way through the bottom side of this jungle, and he wants to influence this bottom lane for once. Crisp has no flash and is half HP. Wei has a free entry in, surely does go for the engage. Thought he was walking away for a second there, and he does grab the kill.
I think he was maybe a little bit afraid because he saw that Tarzan potentially could be heading towards here. Now he needs to be careful. He has flash. Does need to be careful though.
Sapling spots out Tarzan and will get the slow down. Follows the flash and Q over the wall as well. But the bombs coming through from Elk and doing so much work. Wei though might not get away with this one and has to flash.
And gets out just using that flash, blowing Tarzan as well. I think very important for this. I think the Zyro with that flash will
kill him. Because you've got a 6 bot too, so it's very easy to clear those minion waves. Breathe gonna try and deny Wei. Another jungle camp here. Will just get one of those Krugs, and now maybe setting up for Xiaohu. Root comes on through. There's a knock up onto Wei. No flash available for the tree. And it's easy pickings for Xiaohu.
Yeah, so he was playing on...
Like they're going to be very strong in this one for Weibo, as Wei going to go for an invade on the top side. I wasn't sure.
Turret, he has 6 grubs. That's going to be a satchel kill on that turret. First tower of the game goes towards the Ziggs.
They fight for this one. I mean, Light has his Triforce at this point. As Elk finishes BLG. They might just have this in the bag, uncontested. Has been there defending. The Drake will fall. Weibo don't really do anything, well, anywhere on the map.
They get themselves the Herald Charge on mid to get half ultimate, trying to open up points like this. And of course, eventually, death by 1,000 cuts. Weibo can't do the keep away well.
I was not anticipating such a slow start from both teams, especially BLG. A team historically that in playoffs do go aggressive.
There we go.
Speaking of aggressive, Crisp trying to find out, and the True Shot Barrage will finish the job. Tarzan turns gold, and as in the meantime, there's a kill in the top side. Okay, I ask for aggression. It's answered immediately as a stun onto Crisp. I'm not sure why he took that blast cone, but now he's in a bit of a dicey spot. He's pathing to the wrong side of the map as Wei knocks him back into the team. Tarzan trying to survive in the back of the blue pit. The Ignite's not enough, and Crisp walks away.
What? How does...
He's going to be very happy with that, as is On. Neither of these guys really builds true tank. It's kind of this supportive build, and you're trying to play frontline. Man, Soul certainly doesn't work anymore. Well, they're still going Warbox first. On and Crisp don't care. They're close to finishing that first item. Knight potentially assassinated in this top side, but just looks for the 1v1 on his opposite man. Xiaohu in trouble, burning on the Valkyrie! Knight finds it, 1v3, he gets his man!
Knight gets his honor duel in the top side, make sure he fail. BLG can just go straight down the front and center.
I mean, who needs side lanes?
On the Zeri, hang on a second, wait, that's a bit far, Xiaohu.
TP comes through from Knight. Xiaohu has his own flash available and instantly uses it. Bin looking to chase. Xiaohu gets over the wall, but he's into the wrong side of the map, and Bin completely fumbles his flash. The TP from Xiaohu, but Wei denies it. Lightning clash is all it's going to be, just a clash. But if it's a clash in the jungle and nobody hears, did it really make a sound? I don't know. Elk's here, Wei's here, On's here. Knight's just soloing the Drake in the meantime, and that will be 3.
Prestige kind of role like that. That was great. I really enjoyed his performance in that one. So, hey, that's the one thing I'll say.
All right, well.
It's coming through.
Keep your eyes on Elkenheimer. Oh, Tarzan. Luckily, had his anti-blast glasses on, so doesn't take the damage. Crisp will, though. There's more rockets flying on through. No, okay, he goes down this time. I thought he'd done it again. In the meantime, 1v1 on the bottom side, but Bin has that Sterex. He's pretty tanky. Oh, Breed goes wide on the knock-up, and Bin just walks away. Dead. And actually, Wei is the one to get the chicken, the sapling, heroically finishes that one off. Now the TP behind enemy lines, it's all about to kick off. Elk, the target, Satchel Charge out, but flashes away from the engage from Breathe, and here comes Knight to carry the fight. Bomb flashed away from as Bin arrives, and Breathe will fall. BLG survived the attempt.
Fantastic flash coming through from Elk.
On Baron, Xiao who has his ult, Light has his ult. The carries from Weibo have a chance here as Elk is low. Wei gonna try and get into the pit, and he does! Of course he does! Wei saves the day for BLG, subbed in and saves the game. Elk now throwing out these bombs as Weibo desperately hunting for anything. Bin has somehow escaped on the top side, and Xiao who forced a flash as Knight finds him again! And Tarzan will fall as a double. It's insult to injury as Light has nowhere to go. My goodness! BLG are here to play.
Blink and you miss it. Light is stuffed out. Weibo are put to the sword. BLG in one fell swoop get themselves 4 Mountain Dragons for the Soul and the Baron Steel and the fight, and they might just take the Nexus. Wow, Weibo, everything just fell apart.
That was a brutal way for the game to end. We've been talking about Elk all game. It's Knight that comes up huge at the end of the day. These fights on the Corki have been phenomenal. I think that was his 8th kill as he ends the game. Knight took...
Needs to be really quite chiseled. If you do miss out on an extra camp more than you should do, if you don't quite manage to get yourself the extra XP in the early game, the farming jungler, whether that's a Lilia, a Zyra, or in this case a Karthus, can just take over the entire map.
Wei waiting around in that top side. Are they really going to try and
force
a dive?
He might flash over, try and get the empowered something here. Here he goes.
Okay, the stun into the root, into the knockback, into the kill. First blood for Bin.
Gnar down, no tell the Maokai can ever hope to answer.
Yeah, he will fall behind. The question is how far, and the answer right now seems to be extremely, as Tarzan moves through to look for more. Xiao, who's just going to get the kill. Hunter Wei abandoned by his team and taken out by the invade of Weibo. Very nicely played.
So, Wei is not going to be a point of power this time. Had himself
at pit they can really get involved in right now. Crisp just arriving on the scene. Tries to get out tonight. Might be able to force a flash on that top side. And in the meantime, Breathe is just going to go down.
That was a sick punish by Odd. As soon as he did just die, are we just going to give him the old Dyrus treatment?
He's got flash available. TP comes through from Knight. Breathe, you're going nowhere, my friend. Instant engage, and look at him just get one shot. Even the locket comes through from Wei to shield away all of the turret damage. And it's Elk that TP'd, sorry, not Knight. So that will be one dead tower.
Yeah, they've got the grubs. Not 6 grubs this time, but it is still Ziggs. And Alkenheimer once again online in a cinema near you, I guess, as BLG looks to really start accelerate through that. It's gone for the Seraphs this time on the map, and 2 positioning in team fights. The Karthus cannot be a one pillar alone in a team fight.
I mean, the fact that somehow Tarzan is only 100 gold ahead, despite being practically double the CS of Wei, is really something else. BLG now looking for a fight. Crisp, the target, who tries to disengage with his ultimate, tries to block the damage onto Tarzan. There's only so much you can block, and Tarzan down to 400, walking away with his life. But Knight is behind the play, but he's outnumbered as Xiao, who is doing the same on the opposite side. Knight gets into the pit, but I think he's stuck. No flash available. The volley sets up for the Requiem, and the mid laners will fall on both sides of the fight.
How that ends up in a 1-for-1 is beyond me, but it somehow works out. I thought Tarzan was dead to rights. He ended up getting hit by the mark.
Even in grubs, and they've got this Ziggs that is going to start really working away at these towers. And it does feel like a game that, in the early game, was all about Weibo. Suddenly, is starting to slip away from them.
Saw this a little bit in game 1 too, where Weibo managed to stall out the game, and at least the extent the spectators were actually highlighting that ward there. If there was an overextension from Weibo, there could have been a huge teleport coming through. BLG always threatening those big, decisive teleports. With Herald coming through, might just do that, but actually Weibo pulled the trigger first.
Deep TP comes through from Breathe as he turns Mega Gnar, but I don't know if he's really going to have a way in. And Alistair's so good.
At least eventually they managed to blow open that first game. They are still getting themselves slight advantages, and another Markel is going to push the tempo forwards.
Xiaohu has to stick around because of the roots, and now the dive kicks off. Look at that damage. On, get an auto in. Okay, Elk finishes the job. Thought he was going to walk away for a second. That's another tower taken. BLG are so decisive.
Xiaohu picked off in a side lane again. We praised him for it. That's an Ash arrow. I'm not sure that's going to lead to that much. It is onto on. He has flash and all. I don't really think there's a play there. So Weibo, once again, their counterpunch is really lacking. BLG more decisive, and they're using this Maokai ultimate to force plays really readily.
Elk with quite aggressive positioning here, but On's there to protect him. Elk just has no fear, does he? I'm not sure I've ever seen Elk positioned defensively. That tower as Knight pushes in the top side. It does mean Weibo get a chance to get on the Drake again.
So Wei gonna walk down towards the spot side, no support. So he's
You
just
push your wave out and then you go group for a second. But usually that's like sides coming to the mid lane. It feels like with BLG, they do it in all directions, and that is a deep TP from Bin. Tarzan, the target, and the target is down. Assassination from BLG. There's ults onto On, but that Locket saves the day. Xiaohu trying to finish the job, Bin trying to protect his support, and protect him he will, as Wei then dives on in, and Knight looks for revenge. How dare you try and kill the cow? Elk now in a 1v3, satchels away, as Breathe looks to punish anything, but the Braum stacks are gone, and On surviving the prior play arrives to save his AD carry. Breathe finds nothing. BLG are invincible.
Weibo find nothing. BLG find everything. They are the decisive team with these teleports. They are the decisive team of pulling the trigger. And once again, everything comes up BLG. They'll take themselves this Baron, and they'll take themselves absolutely firmly the driving seat in this game if they weren't already in it. They can use this to start pushing out the map as well. Just continually catching these weird oversteps from Weibo has been really powerful and consistent. The fact that they're surviving by these margins too means they can just improvise their way through the back end of team fights. This should not be possible, but BLG make it happen.
Oh, it's so fun to watch BLG team fight, isn't it? They're just too good. And Xiaohu's got underneath the tower, Bin flashes for it, and will find the stun. He'll find the kill, and he'll find himself alone in a 1v3. The rest of the gang on the way, and Sterix will save the day. Bin turns it around onto Breathe and chases him into the base. Breathe is the one retreating as Chris falls. How do they never die?
I have no idea. Look, sometimes I think BLG are the Picasso of League of Legends. They understand the rules of the game. They understand how to break them too. They are improvisers in so many of these games. They just somehow make this work. Tarzan's caught out now as well. He can't even get back to his base. Knight checking out these brushes with False Bomb. BLG, blink and you miss it. Again, the game has just evaporated away from Weibo.
It's going to be a mid-tower. Tarzan looking for a 1v1 on Knight, feeling confident, and he'll take it as well. A TP used by Xiaohu just to make sure, and perhaps a chance for Weibo to turn things around here. With Knight dead for 40 seconds, what can they get on the map?
That's a good question. Breathe doesn't have flash, does have Mega coming up just now.
On perhaps overzealous on this engage. Requiem going to come through for good measure as well. And now with a second pick, perhaps a bit of a snowball starting to roll for Weibo. Tempo all in their favor. Drake coming up in 30 seconds and an arrow onto Elk as well. Wei trying to play bodyguard here, but he doesn't have an Alistair ultimate, but he does have a Croc alongside him. Bin turns it around. Elk out of mana though, but it's still a 3 for 3.
It's a 3 for 3 after we were just praising BLG for having 2 clean games in League of Legends. Wow, we haven't seen that as much in summer. Yeah, because they're just as likely to do stuff like this across the Ascension stage and the groups. That probably should have been a Death Baron. That probably should have been the end of the game. Doesn't quite end up being that, though, as BLG will have to wait a little bit longer. Weibo, they walk away, always going to suck. BLG now just get ready to set up for another push-in, maybe get themselves another opening hit.
And I have to say, like, if Light doesn't have flash there, I think that's just a one fight for BLG. Like, Light being able to get away from the Croc, get over that wall is the only reason that goes even for Weibo. They've exploded this game now. And Breathe finally gets a chance to push out in a side lane, get some gold close over their careers. And it feels like BLG, they are looking for that second trophy. They've only got one so far, Elkanon at least. And they're hoping for a second this year. And so far this series, they are feeling like championship form. Bin caught in the mid lane, the Requiem sets up for a potential pick as the rest of the squad just evaporate, Chris. Baron gone, Bin still survived, by the way, as he turns it back around on Breathe, and here comes Knight to finish the job. Red buff slow is more than enough to finish another BLG. They're just styling on Weibo. This is a straight-up victory lap at this point. Light will be caught out as everybody barrels on into the play, and BLG show everyone how it's done.
Weibo have been vitrified, turned to glass and shattered by BLG. They'll march in. It took them an extra Baron, but it's all BLG. All game long here, 2 games down.
Weibo are just glass waiting to be smashed, to quote Tarek, as Weibo fall underneath their towers. Xiaohu desperately trying to survive, but he won't even be allowed to get onto his fountain. BLG, they make these fights look easy. This has been somewhat brutal in the first 2 games as BLG remind them. Oh no. The gyos come in, and the sound of first blood rings through the arena.
Very likely to happen there, but nothing really happens. Both Flashes surviving the top lane as well. He's sticking around longer. This is the ignite.
Big damage onto Crisp. He's going to go down. He tries to turn it and does exactly that. Light finds himself the kill first. And both AD carries surviving now as they continue to spar, but Light should have an advantage. No, the root comes in, and the barrier! Elk diffs Light in the bottom side, and now Tarzan moves into the top lane as well. Wei, chunked, breathe. He's trying to get onto Bin, who's just pushing the wave relentlessly, but he's pushed too far forwards, and now has to flash, has to lightning rush, somehow getting away with his life. The knockback is there, and Bin survives. Xiaohu's moved into the top side. The bomb is on both. Wei will fall, and Bin has nowhere to go. Xiaohu corralling the BLG top laner. On's moving up, so is Knight, but I think they're going to be too late. Xiaohu, the target, is Bin just trying to dodge, but he goes down. Tarzan might just fall as well, as Knight gets one in response. Breathe, flashing to safety, and engage from Crisp as Xiaohu knocked up to stop the follow-up. This is chaos as Knight gets out of vision. Breathe drops a one, tries to finish the kill, but he can't quite do it. As Xiaohu now chased down by Bin under the tower. They go, and Breathe is responded to. On now looking for Crisp. What is going on?
10 kills, 5 minutes. It has been the bloodiest early game of the entire series, and we have been left waiting for that once. And I don't think Breathe is getting any help here. He could get dove. It's a massive wave to lose if he dies.
Oh, this is brutal. Breathe still level 5. A TP immediately comes through from Xiaohu. And he will save his top laner, but he loses a wave or 2 in the mid lane for it. He's 20 CS down already. Tarzan trying to start a fight, but just gets engaged on himself. Bin trying to get into the mix, and Xiaohu gets damaged down, but Bin gets in the brush. Xiaohu finds the kill, finds the reset. Breathe dives in onto On, so does Xiaohu. They find the support, but Breathe's going to go down for it. And Knight is here to do the DPS, but with Chris coming in, Xiaohu should be able to carry. Wei, the target for now, with the bomb on his head, but Xiaohu can't finish the job, and Knight's just DPSing down his opposite man. Xiaohu 1 HP. But he's found Wei again, and there's the twisted advance. Wei survives. Crisp, level 3 true shot barrage right between the posts as Wei goes down, and Breathe re-enters the fray once again. This game is the best I've ever seen.
Okay, so last we said it was 10 kills in 5 minutes. We've just upped that even more. The ult coming through from Elk. Light has flash.
Fancy footwork. Oh, flash forced by Elk in the bottom lane. And now Knight is caught on the top side. Will the action ever end? Tarzan says no. 500 gold into his pocket.
Oh my god, there is nowhere on the rift which hasn't been painted in a...
I think at this point, Knight should just be trying to leave, but they go for Crisp instead. Okay, they get the kill onto Crisp, and then he goes down. And now there's a Maelstrom in the top side, but 3 members of Weibo underneath the tower. They'll find a kill onto Bin. A bit of revenge for what Breathe's been dealing with this series.
Oh, we've got 2 kills a minute. We have over 2 kills a minute. I have never cast a game this bloody. Wei wants to keep that going. Another ult. Light has cleanse, he's just dead to rights.
He doesn't even use the cleanse, I think rightly so. He goes down and Elk grabs his 4th kill of the game. Figure out what the win comes our way, you're out of the game. This has just been so chaotic, and Light is going to get dived again.
Light might just die again. Yeah, he's got himself an E, he has a cleanse, he uses it. I think Buddy might just be dead.
4th shot is just so much damage at this point. Elk, 1 more auto, does the job. 5 kills for BLG's AD carry. And that might just be the first tower of the game going down as well at this rate. I mean, how often do you see a Jhin lane finishing off the first tower of the game this early in the game? I mean, it's just unheard of.
No, this is a Caitlyn thing to do. Jhin is not the best tower taker. He's better than he was. Oh wait, does Ben even spot this coming? He does just about. Dodges out on that bowling ball as Tarzan was on vision. I mean, he might just die anyway. There's an ult from Tarzan.
Slicing Maelstrom available. Immediately drops that, clears the wave. Tarzan underneath the tower and does take a chunk. Honestly, Bin kind of won that trade. The TP
That's a great question. Maybe because we shouldn't look light directly in the eyes. Maybe he's struggling with that right now. It's like just going like scratch the back. Another big milestone in this game.
And I have to say, this is one of those games where I know a lot of people not fans of this Jhin build. Oh, sleep comes out from Tarzan, really committing onto Bin here. Don't know if he can finish the job. The rocket belt dodges the slow from the swirl seed. Tarzan will be left empty-handed. Breathe, however, will grab himself some tower plays. Elk with some very controversial positioning here, doing a Huanfeng with the Jhin flank, but I don't know if it's going to work out for him. Look at the damage out from Breathe and from Tarzan. True shot barrage to finish the job. Why were you there, Elk? Wei now wants to answer, and Bin will be the one to grab the gold. Breathe, stuck in the back of the pit, has that flash available, but Wei has his own flash if he wants to try and close the gap. There is no tower for Breathe to run to. Slicing Maelstrom comes into play, and Breathe will go down. How the hell is that a positive play for BLG?
And how are we still almost on track for 2 kills a minute? These teams are just using, again, on top. Well, no, not on the play, because it's past 14 minutes. You know what? Quite hard to keep track of the timer as well in this one. Breathe gets himself a turret. That's a nice start, but Harold is going to go down to the side of BLG.
Honestly, I just love the LPL. This is my kind of League
of
Legends right here. I don't care about quality. I care about action. I care about just watching bangers. I mean, I do care about quality, but this is quality action right here. This is the best of both worlds. There's a threat onto the mid lane from Weibo. Bin slicing Maelstrom, looking for Crisp here. No unbreakable will from the previous play. And Crisp goes down, but it's a trade. Both supports as like chunked by Knight, who flies into the mix. Tarzan stunned, but skips away. And Breathe finally gets his chance. Elk down for the second time, and Breathe has gone too far to make it happen. Xiaohu trying to follow up, as is Tarzan. Health bars blinking on both sides of the fight.
Wait, hang on. That play was saved from BLG by the big Raptor.
Wait,
the big Raptor. Xiaohu dies as another one goes down. Light flashing forward for some reason. Can he catch Bin? He can.
Yes, he can. Light punishes. Bin oversteps and Light.
More damage than I thought they should do, Team.
Outplayed by the jungle itself. After Wei spent so much time in that top lane as well, it feels like all kinds of jungles are against Breathe in this one. 17
Could be a problem for BLG. I think particularly once he gets that Muramana transformed and then he gets himself the opportunity, he becomes a huge poke beast. Yeah, if you're dying on side lanes like this, that's a problem though. That's going to set his time attack a little bit more, and it's just another kill on the pile of this game.
It's brutal to see. Breathe. That's his 5th death of the game. He has got 4 kills and 4 assists though, so not as egregious as that sounds. Root comes through onto Crisp. Tarzan really trying to get that damage down, but with the Magnus Storm, he's just pulled in. And Knight free firing for the entire time. Finishes 2, and Xiaohu's next. Knight takes them to pieces. BLG own this rift.
That's what it takes. That's what it takes now. You need 4 people to defend your jungle camps. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. BLG, one of the biggest things that we've kept saying, so hopefully you cotton onto it out there, dear listener, is BLG are really good at improvising. They are really good at taking individual leads and changing the game with them. They are doing exactly the same thing again. They use the Maokai ult to make sure this tower is going to go down, and the Jhin ult just to add an insult to injury. Weibo might just get caught again.
Light is found. He's gone instantly. BLG just eradicating. This isn't a war. This is pest control from BLG. Light steps up. I thought Jhin was the Mosquito build, but it turns out it was Ezreal after all.
BLG very much the reapers of this game. Weibo exist because they allow it, and they shall end because they demand it. It has been all BLG all series, and Weibo, they're not done being punished yet.
Breathe is found. Elk with a 4th shot, gets the movement speed and walks away. The Mosquito build comes out on top after all. Knight found in the mid lane though. And there's an answer for Weibo. At least they get something, but they lost their tier 2 in the bottom side. Oh, Elvin. BLG start Baron off. Elk still pushing in the mid lane, matching light for the time being as Crisp tries to get in and tries to get vision. Xiaohu pushing in a side lane for the time being. TP available for him, but BLG are just gonna take this Baron. Xiaohu is staying in the bottom lane. He wants to trade an inhibitor as Chris comes into the pit. Breathe trying to get in as well. Baron taken. Elk surviving on the bottom side. Maybe a fight. Xiaohu TP'd in as well. Tarzan caught. Elk walking away. Knight 1 HP, but still alive. Tarzan trying to close the gap as Wade caught and Breathe finds the kill, but it's traded. 1 for 1 now. Is Tarzan just being sidestepped by Elk? Light still alive, but only 300. Baron for BLG.
Neither team has a hyper tank. Both teams have such ridiculous amounts of gold onto some of these carries that they can very much get through onto those important members. But this game, he has actually had a pretty okay series in his own right. It's just sadly against BLG and On playing the way they've been doing so far.
Oh,
now
no.
we're back to life. Tarzan's dying.
He's been the hero for Weibo, but caught out. And I think Xiaohu was a part of that play as well. And we see a big play on the top side from BLG during the replay. They find 2, and that is going to be such a loss for Weibo. In fact, that might even be the game if anyone missteps.
You could always, I mean, they've got the rest of the Baron buff. They do have 5 people alive. We'll go to a replay of that. This is the danger of replays in a game like this. Someone could just randomly die. It's a jump forward. They didn't have everything, and it's a fight in live.
The only word to describe this game is carnage, and Crisp on the receiving end of it. Looking like Venom right now. As BLG take 1 inhibitor, they move towards the mid lane to turn it into 2. They won't finish the game just yet, but they are damn close at just 24 minutes on the clock. And Wade does want to finish the job, but Xiaohu manages to buffer it. Tarzan trying to get into the mix once more, but he's rooted, and that's the go signal for BLG. 1 more auto will finish the job. Tarzan knocked up and taken down. Xiaohu rocket jumps away, trying to keep this game alive. The 4th shot, so close to a kill, as Bin comes in on the bottom side and takes Weibo apart. Elk is one-shotting everyone, and Breathe, the man with the counter pick in a 1v5, and he just doesn't have what it takes. BLG eradicate Weibo in the most entertaining game I've seen in years.
Do you feel it? Do you hear it out there? It is BLG, and the rest of the LPL just shut